Hello, my name is Edith. Today is August 2nd, 2021. I took care of my patient last week, July 30th. My patient is a 62-year-old Caucasian male. He came voluntarily that day for a routine medication review. Patient was first referred to us from his PCP for management of major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder. Little background on my patient. He has been married 2 times and divorced 2 times. The last divorce was just a month ago. Patient has 4 children. He only speaks to one of them. He has 4 sisters, and he only talked to the youngest sister. He's reported that he had some altercation with his parents 5 years ago, and he hasn't spoken to them. Patient has his own business. He's a lawyer. He worked alone, and he said he's doing well. Patient was asked how he was doing. He said he's very lonely, irritable, and upset all the time, and also reported poor sleep. Okay, that's enough on my patient, and now we'll go to his medication. Patient is currently on Xanax 1 milligram PRN for sleep at night. He on Buspar 15 milligram TID schedule. Lexapro 20 milligram daily. Okay, now we'll do the mental status exam. Patient is well groomed. He dressed appropriately. He acted is anxious. When asked about his mood, he said irritable. He said he's a little bit depressed too. He denied mania, hallucination, or delusion. He reported that he had been having poor temper control. He had been yelling at everybody around him. His speech is intact, cognition is tight. He following the review question without any difficulty. He has some good insight on his situation for the most part. He denied suicidal thoughts and ideation. He reported poor broken sleep for the last 2 weeks. He said he has poor appetite and, of course, no energy or motivation to exercise. Okay, now we'll go to the DMS ISIS. We'll start with ISIS 1. Like I said, he has major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder. ISIS 2 was deferred. ISIS 3, patient hypertension and hyperlipidemia. ISIS 4, patient is for the psychosocial environmental factors. Patient been married twice, divorced twice. He has 4 children. I only talked to one. He only close to one of his siblings. He said he had an altercation with his parents 5 years ago. He haven't spoken to them. Patient said he's a lawyer and he has his own office. So he work alone, and he said he's doing very well. He said he's the best among his siblings. Okay, now we'll go to my differential diagnosis. My differential diagnosis for this patient will be narcissistic. I chose this because patient is very grandiose. He appear to have self-inflicted importance. He have very poor relationship with almost everybody around him. He said he had been yelling at everybody around him. And when asked why he working alone, he said he's not a follower, he's a leader. So he rather work for himself and by himself. Okay, my patients have been on medication. I mentioned the medication. So my plan for this patient will remain on the Xanax 1 milligram nightly PRN, the Buspar 15 milligram TID, and the Lexapro 20 milligram daily. We also did a new order for Trazodone 15 nightly PRN to help him with his sleep, since he had not been sleeping. And I don't know if I mentioned the medication, but again, he's on Xanax 1 milligram nightly for sleep, Buspar 15 milligram daily, Lexapro 20 milligram daily, and now the new one will be Trazodone 50 milligram as needed for sleep. Thank you. Good night.